welcome back to Coffee and Kurosawa, the friendly film crit podcast. I'm Ben Filipkowski, your resident film freak.
And I am Farrah Sarpkaya, a person who loves film, but like in a super chill, ain't there anyone here for love sort of way. And today we are watching Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Released in 1953, this film stars Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell as blonde bombshell and Lorelei Lee, and beautiful brunette Dorothy Shaw, respectively. The two are showgirls, and Lorelei is in love. Lorelei's lover, son of a millionaire, Gus Esmond, asks Lorelei to elope with him to Paris and gifts her a diamond that deserves its own highball glass. Alas, Gus is delayed by his father, who is trying to break the couple up, and so sends Lorelei on the ship without him, with Dorothy along to chaperone. Meanwhile, Daddy Esmond disapproves of his son's dalliances with a showgirl and sends a spy onto the ship, hoping to catch Lorelei being unfaithful. What follows is a delightful cruise full of misunderstandings and hijinks as Lorelei attempts to set Dorothy up with a slew of rich men, and Dorothy attempts to set herself up with the men's Olympic team. In true romantic comedy fashion, a few misunderstandings and a stellar performance of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend later, Lorelei gets her millionaire, Dorothy gets her not-quite-millionaire, and the film closes with a double wedding. So Ben, how did you like the movie?
Yeah, full disclosure, I watched this a few weeks ago. It might have been over the winter break. I can't remember. Time. This is,
it's a lot.
We're recording this at the end of January, and I feel like January 1st was 2 days ago, so it's very
was
weird.
Was it not?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not necessarily the freshest experience in my mind. I've seen it in chunks beforehand as well. But yeah, like I like this movie. It's a fun movie. It's charming. It's delightful. It has that problem that I feel like a lot of these kind of like 50s, very studio production movies have, where it's like they have like a really tight story, but then they kind of pad it out with some stuff that, yeah, like let's just extend the runtime to extend the runtime. But you know, that aside, like it's goofy, it's fun. There are a lot of good gags in this. Yeah, I was also kind of surprised because I don't know that I really clocked this until this rewatch. This is a Howard Hawks movie, and this is not the kind of movie I would associate with Howard Hawks. He was the guy who did the original Scarface. I think he did, what else? Yeah, he's kind of known for like gangster movies, film noir, westerns, and apparently even sci-fi. He did the original The Thing from Another World. He did Rio Bravo. He did, as I mentioned, Scarface back in 1932. He did His Girl Friday, The Big Sleep. So, like, pretty prolific director. And kind of surprised to see that he did this comedy. Was also surprised to learn that he completely pieced out of doing all the musical numbers in it and just, like, told someone else, you do it, I'm not interested. So, yeah. Rambling a little bit here. Good movie. Very fun. Very funny. You know, this was one of the early movies that my wife and I watched when we first started dating. She was a big fan of it, so we watched that. So, yeah, definitely a soft spot in my heart for this movie. Even if it's not necessarily my favorite film, it is a joy to watch.
Yeah, it's just fun. You know, like I brought it to us because we have little like sets of films that we were thinking of doing themes with, and this one's nestled really nicely into like Breakfast at Tiffany's, which, spoiler, that's coming at some point, and Pretty Woman, which you will hopefully have already listened to. But there's a really delightful theme of you know, femininity and feminism we'll talk about, but also it's just a lovely movie and I love excuses to watch it. Like, it is technically, I think, in the public domain now too, so you can pretty much just find it. But it's like, oh, it's so lovely and so just like wholesome good fun that you can just go in and be like, oh, I'm just gonna listen to some cute musical numbers and like have some fun little hijinks and I'm good. That's an hour and 30 minutes of just like, oh, how delightful.
I mean, like, I don't know if I'd say wholesome. I'm not trying to say this is like scandalous, but it is, you know, it's a little like wink, wink, nudge, nudge at times. You know, it knows what it's doing.
We talked the Hays Code. This is post Hays Code. There's a little bit wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? But there's not like anything terribly ghastly about it. You know, it's delightful. It's delightful.
Yeah. It's genuinely fun. I think like kind of what we wanted to dig into, I think, to start here was talking to those similarities to like what common ground this has with Pretty Woman in terms of some of the stuff that we've discussed in the past for that movie.
Yeah.
Because, you know, gentlemen prefer blondes. They're leaning on certain tropes around ladies' hair color. And I think like growing up, like being a kid in the 90s, you heard a lot of dumb blonde jokes. I certainly heard a lot of them. Some of them are just like,
they're just so bad.
some of them are so bad, but there's one that I remember to this day that is like, well, that one's actually kind of funny, but it's not because of someone being blonde. I'm just all over the place, rambling and digressions here, but yeah, like, talk to me a bit about what you see as like the kind of common ground between this and Pretty Woman, because
yeah. I mean, so in Pretty Woman, if y'all haven't listened to our previous episode or watched the movie in a hot minute, a young woman makes her way to Hollywood and she follows a boy and then loses the boy, and then she falls back on being able to do sex work. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but it was one of the choices that she had available to her. Not a lot of them for a young girl without a high school education and so on. And in Pretty Woman, we have this really interesting pair of women who are very clever, who are very directed in what they want. And Marilyn Monroe's character has a very particular, Lorelai has a very particular intelligence about her in that she knows what she wants. She wants to marry a rich man because a rich man can afford her a lifestyle that she wants. And on the one hand, you could probably look at that as, oh, she's a gold digger, or she's this, she's that. But even herself at the end of the film, Lorelai says, what is the quote exactly? I have it up here on the screen. Don't you know that a man being rich is like a girl being pretty? You wouldn't marry a girl just because she's pretty, but my goodness, doesn't it help? And yeah, it sure does, girl. Like,
yeah.
You know, there's a number of times throughout this film that she has little throw-offs like that of, you know, it's a lot easier to be in love when you're not struggling for money. It's a lot, if a woman needs to protect herself, to take care of herself, she needs to, in this society, in the context of this film, have a man, because she can't have a bank account. That's why diamonds are a girl's best friend, because a lady needs a way to carry her cash and diamonds aren't going to depreciate, you know? And there's something so delightfully feminist, particularly of Lorelai and Dorothy as these two very different types of women. Like, Lorelai determined to marry a rich man because she wants this particular lifestyle. Whereas Dorothy's like, you know what? I just want to enjoy this men's Olympic team and fall in love, and I don't care about that other stuff. Like, they're making choices, and that's fantastic, because even in Pretty Woman, Kit, our leading lady's best friend, she goes back to school. She makes a choice to go back to school. She doesn't go and like try to dress up and find a rich husband. She's like, no, I'm going to go to beauty school or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I think there's something so wonderful and often misunderstood about this snapshot in history of like, oh, she's just a gold digger. Well, yeah. A lady needs to take care of herself. Why wouldn't you? You know, like I want to really try, particularly as a modern woman with a full-time job, you know, who can make her own money however she wants, have a bank account however she wants. Looking back at this type of femininity and this kind of power and seeing how much value there is in that and how far we've come since then, where diamonds don't have to be a girl's best friend because I can just put my cash in a bank account and it's fine. I can have a credit card with my name on it. My husband doesn't have to sign for it. Like, that's amazing. I love that for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where my a lot of my fondness for this film comes from, I think.
Yeah. I found this review, doing a bit of reading up on this, writing for Bust magazine back in 2019. Samantha Mann wrote, and I'm quoting here, Throughout the entire film, the main characters Lorelai and Dorothy display consistent loyalty to one another. There's no backstabbing, shit-talking, or degrading one another to come out on top or gain the affection of a man. The women remain steadfast in their loyalty to one another and tolerate no one speaking ill of the other. Providing support and comfort to one another takes priority over finding ways to secure their desired men. And I hadn't really, thought about that watching this movie until, reading that. I was like, oh, yeah, they are. They're BFFs.
They're
and they
best friends.
completely have each other's backs throughout. It's really cool to see. And kind of that's really fun and interesting to see. And yeah, the way that, as you're saying, that they are making decisions based on, in part, self-interest, but also just self-respect. This is what they want. It's not just a base need. Although I would also argue that Lorelai's need for diamonds is she is to diamonds what the Cookie Monster is to cookies.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, but I don't, it's a compulsion.
As a grown adult.
Yeah.
I mean, but it is. But at the same time, wouldn't you want an extra $100,000 to pay off your mortgage?
Yes,
right.
100%.
And that's her. And this is something we'll talk about too when we talk about Breakfast at Tiffany's. That's her asking for well, if a gentleman's going to entertain a lady, he's going to pay for it because this is her job, this is her livelihood, and she's going to get paid for her livelihood, right? You brought up the persona of Piggy, and Piggy is the owner of a diamond mine.
My God, this guy.
And Lorelai hears this and she goes, "Tell me everything." Or should I say, "Oh, tell me everything about it, Piggy." And I think there's a very calculated, literally at the beginning of the cruise, Lorelai is sitting in a chair looking at the list and checking off all of the people who she thinks that Dorothy should go after because they're rich and whom she should make connections with because they're rich. That is a skill. That is a calculated woman looking at a list going, who do I need to talk to get that money, girl?
Yeah.
And with Piggy, she turns what could have been a catastrophic, misstep of being photographed of him grabbing her, pretending to be a boa constrictor and a monkey, if you will, and turns that into, "Oh, Piggy, I would just love to have a tiara." And he fully gives her the most, this tiara that's been in the family for generations just because she batted her eyes at him and she played him like a fiddle.
Yeah.
And that's it's shiny, I want it. But also, they get stuck in Paris with nothing and they don't suffer for it, probably because she has a healthy collection of diamonds that she can sell to put them back in business.
Yeah.
And that's that's incredible.
Oh yeah.
That's some
to be
business
clear,
acumen.
To be clear, I'm not saying it's a one-note obsession with diamonds, but her love of diamonds is it's a profound, strong
oh, for sure.
And while it doesn't dictate her entire behavior, her entire arc, there's a bit of a to me there's a bit of that kind of Cookie Monster I gotta have it drive. And doubly funny because turns out Marilyn could do a pretty good Cookie Monster voice when she's stuck in the porthole and trying to
that was a
good bit.
The measuring her hips against the porthole of
can I fit?
I think I could do that. Oh God, I adore her.
Yeah.
Both actress and character, they're just wonderful.
Just good performance, good timing. Yeah. But yeah, Piggy, we gotta talk about this guy because his nickname is Piggy, and
yes,
that's not thematically appropriate or anything, except for it is entirely.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
I think the kindest thing that we can say about Piggy is that he's a mark, and
he surely is,
and is not. He's a creep, but he's not. He could be worse.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like every time he's on screen, I'm thinking like, why is this guy around? I do not care for this character. Please leave.
Because he owns a diamond mine.
Because he owns a diamond mine.
That's why he's here.
Yeah, his entire arc is like, man, just don't do this. Like, just be content.
He sucks.
Yeah, you suck, dude. Please stop. But he does, inevitably winds up helping them out of a bind, not necessarily through choice.
No.
There's some manipulation.
A problem he caused,
Yeah.
he solves the problem he caused,
Yeah.
is the answer to the...
Yeah. He stepped over the line on the floor, the bar that is on the bottom of the floor.
Bar is in hell,
yeah.
and Piggy managed to go over it,
Yeah.
yes.
Still stumbled, but managed to get over it.
At duress.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, even if you look at "Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend," the song itself, there's a line where like, "He's your guy when stocks are high, but prepare when they start to descend, because that's when those louses go back to their spouses." And he steals the crown, the tiara, back from Marilyn Monroe,
Yeah.
Lorelai, and then doesn't tell anyone, thus leaving her to the mercy of the French police. And, like, he's despicable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's terrible.
He's truly awful.
And he's also, like, for as much ogling as he is doing of Lorelai throughout this movie,
Yes.
when Dorothy shows up in her Lorelai costume and performance, he does not notice one bit. Like, he's completely suckered into it. I mean, I did a double take at that point. I was like, wait, hang on, what? It's like, oh,
They did a very good job.
Yeah, it's a very good Marilyn impression.
Yes.
But yeah.
But yeah.
The
Well, he wasn't looking at her face. Let's be no.
yeah.
But actually, Piggy, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God. But anyway, the gumption that Lorelai has, and I'm going to say business acumen, because that's what it feels like to me sometimes, where she knows, okay, if I'm going to go after anybody in this room, it's going to be a certain persona, right? Like, she's a consummate saleswoman and marketer, and she knows her persona backwards, forwards, upside down, and inside out. And she knows she's going to go after an older man who owns a diamond mine, and who doesn't seem to like his wife very much. And like, power to you, Lorelai. But like, there's so many moments where she plays up the dumb blonde. The dumb part and the dumb blonde, until later when she meets the father of her intended, of Gus, and she has to convince him, hey, let me marry your son. And we have that line about like, you want to marry a pretty girl, but also she says, he says to her, like, I didn't realize they all told me you were dumb. And she's like, well, I can be smart when it's important, but men don't like it. Making it very clear that this is a caricature she has created to entertain her gentleman callers. This is not, she's not dumb. She's just playing it for TV. Like,
yeah.
And that shines through in so many moments throughout. And charisma itself is a certain type of intelligence. Like, some people can, like, my grandmother had the gift of the gab. Mm-hmm. Like, she could charm anybody. Marilyn Monroe in this film, Lorelai, and honestly so many of her films, has that charisma in spades. A couple conversations later, or like a conversation or a couple words or even a kiss, she's just like, I got him.
Yeah.
There's a moment where I forget I think it's the cost of the tiara. She wants to get it out of Gus so that she can pay off the insurance. And she says, how much is a tiara, Dorothy? And Dorothy says, oh, $15,000. And she's like, that'll take about 40 minutes to get from Gus. And I'm just like, she knows the cost of her time. And like, it's so calculated, but in such a playful, like, winking kind of way. And it's delightful.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think it also kind of echoes in broad strokes, the kind of like off-screen persona of someone like Marilyn Monroe, who I think like looms large in pop culture consciousness as this like gone before her time, this incredible beauty and talent. And I think it's interesting that like if we look at like Marilyn Monroe's life and kind of like her public and private life and what we know of both, it kind of has that like her persona was a construct and as much a performance as any role that she's playing on screen. So I think it's kind of fun that we get a little bit of that kind of like real life mirroring here. And admittedly, I'm not like deeply knowledgeable about the life and times of Marilyn Monroe, but I think it's a really there's something there. There's something there that could easily be dug into in greater detail if I were to pore over some biographies and historical documents for a bit.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, there's a long tradition of performers having an external persona. Let's be honest, even I have an external persona compared to who I am as a person, like when I'm in my house by myself or with my husband or my dog, right? Like we all have these very crafted, like what we look like to the world necessarily, like, but that's not necessarily a problem. That's just business, I liken it a little bit to like Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton has a very iconic like persona that she has kept for 60 years in the business?
Yeah.
Something like that. And, I've never seen Dolly Parton in sweatpants and a messy t-shirt because it's laundry day with her hair down. Like I've never seen that. And I don't expect to. That's her private life and she can do whatever she wants because she's an absolute gem of a human being. But she has crafted this very specific like image to play to her audience. Lorelai does the same. She has crafted the character Lorelai has crafted this very particular persona to play to the men who are her clients, or her intended or whatever. And she just does it. She is a maestro on the hearts of men and she knows how to get diamonds and that's her thing. And like, cool. Excellent. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, very fun and yeah.
Yeah. And very, I don't know, like I said, I think it's very feminist in that we have this really incredible, beautiful friendship between these two women who are very different people, who have very different goals, but they adore each other regardless. And we have these two women who are playing up their particular skills to get what they want in a very calculated way. And that's delightful. And really highlights the intelligence required to survive as a woman in that time by yourself, because that in and of itself was a difficult thing to do. So,
well,
yeah.
And I also just want to like take a quick moment as a digression here. I think it's really interesting that we see these characters who are they are showgirls. They are calculated and shrewd in a certain sense, and concerned about like their interests and their desires, and putting a lot of necessary boy, words are hard today. A lot of necessary emphasis on those things. And by contrast, we have like the love interests. You have Gus Jr., who's kind of a bit of a he's kind of caught between doing what his dad tells him and doing what Lorelai tells him, and he clearly wants to do what Lorelai tells him to do, but he's kind of stuck with some responsibilities to his father. But then we also have Ernie Malone, who is the PI, who is basically keeping tabs on Lorelai on behalf of Gus Sr. of Daddy Esmond. Yeah. And yeah, I think Ernie sucks. I think Malone is the worst character in here because his morals are kind of for sale for most of the movie. Like, he clearly has this interest and infatuation with Dorothy, knows that she's close with Lorelai, and it's like, I'm still going to do my job, though. Like, I'm still going to get paid for this, and still going to inform my employer about all this stuff. And I think, like, my read on him is that, like, a lot of the immediate problems of this movie don't exist without his intervention. Like, I think it goes a lot smoother without him being like, you won't believe this scandal that I uncovered. Until the very end, when he judiciously withholds evidence and fires himself from the case. And it's like, hang on, come on, dude. Like, what are you doing here? This is...
I know.
I think, like, you make this movie today, his reluctance would be much clearer from the get-go. And he'd probably be withholding a lot more information from the get-go. But it still gets out because there would be other, more villainous sources. I don't know. He bugs me because I feel like, I guess, cool, you're a good flirt with Dorothy, I guess, but also there's a team of Olympic swimmers here, and they all seem super into Dorothy, so, like...
But they have to go to bed before 9, and it's such a hassle, and, I mean, even Dorothy's musical number asks, is there anyone here for love? And, like, yes, it's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, love, as in... let's spend the night together. But also, she's looking for an actual, like, love connection, to use the Bridgerton parlance. And I think we start off with our secondary leading man, if you will. I guess he's the leading man. I don't know. Gus doesn't really feel like a leading man to me. But, and as he's trying to... it starts off, and this is such a common trope, right? It starts off that he's just trying to get information on Lorelai, and then he falls in love with Dorothy and her gumption.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is what's it called? He sees how loyal Dorothy is to Lorelai. Yeah. And I think that surprises him. And he says as much at one point later in the film, and she's my best friend. Like, there's no question mark here. Of course she's my best friend. I would never. And the fact that she dumps him because he would hurt Lorelai, he's just like, oh, it is, friends before boys or whatever is.
What was that? And is the bit from Parks and Rec, where it's uteruses before deuteruses.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes. And I don't actually mind him being a little bit of a weirdo, because his whole job, similar to how Lorelai's whole job is being beautiful and a little bit ditzy and manipulating men for their diamonds, our PI's job is uncover secrets.
Yeah.
And things that people wouldn't want to see. And he goes about it in kind of a paparazzi weird kind of way, where he takes a photo out of context, potentially, or maybe not. But that's his job. He's just doing his... And as far as creepy things in this movie, like, Piggy was, like, the worst.
Oh,
absolutely, bar none. The fact that... why have I lost his name? Ernie?
Ernie Malone. No. Yeah.
Ernie, yeah. The fact that Ernie does come to his senses and come to the rescue at the end is it kind of, again, reminds me of Pretty Woman, where Edward comes to rescue his beloved, but he's not actually rescuing her. He's just kind of fixing the problem that he caused.
Yeah.
And coming to his senses of, like, my girl does actually have a point. I'm sorry, babe. Let me put the pieces back together that I threw at the wall. So I don't know. I don't find him that questionable in that because he doesn't feel, I don't know, malicious in it. He's just functional.
Yeah, but I think like that's a bit of my frustration with it is that he is this character and it's presented as like, oh, I'm just following orders. And it's like, well, okay, dude, like, hang on. So it just I think maybe it's more of a like a hang up I have as a person versus like a genuinely honest and earnest critique. But I think like Piggy's name is Piggy. Everything he does, he is a pig. He is a creep. We know this. Malone kind of insinuates himself and does a lot of things that like I just find morally objectionable. Like, you know, like obviously there's not necessarily a complete right to privacy when you're out in public, but like you have a reasonable right to a reasonable level of privacy, and he's like peeping into rooms and stuff. They do get him absolutely hammered as vengeance at one point, which he absolutely deserves. And he does make good in the end, so you know, some redemption there. But I do find the whole like a lot of his kind of like about face is like, oh no, the consequences of my own actions. Oh no, like he doesn't really second guess until he is personally affected, despite the fact that he has conversations with Dorothy that are like, you know, like he could show more of an interest in, you know, the people in Dorothy's life, and he just kind of doesn't. Beyond.
Sure, but it's not. I'll circle back to this again. If it's not his job, he is being paid by a very rich man to find dirt on the showgirl that his, you know, employer's son has been bamboozled by, and taking that out of the context of the rest of the movie of what we know of Dorothy and Lorelai, like that's kind of legit. Like this, he's been told again and again by the employer and by other folks that Lorelai is this like ditzy floozy who's just using her feminine wiles to marry Gus and trick Gus into marriage for his money. And that's how he approaches it. He doesn't approach it as, oh, this is a really sweet girl who's just like super in love, but also super like he's not. That's not what he's here for. He's here because he was told. This is not an Ernie defense podcast, but like I think it's important, particularly in films where there is a change of heart, to really understand the empathy and to exhibit empathy for some of the other characters. Where, yeah, all he's heard about Lorelai is she is basically a showgirl who hitched herself to a millionaire and is marrying him for his money. True. The end. Yeah. That's all he knows about this woman.
He's kind of in like an entirely different genre coming into this thing.
Yeah,
like he's stepped off of a film noir set and is like, hang on, what's going on?
Why is there singing? What is happening over here? Yeah. Why are we? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, he's expecting a gritty like. Messy showgirl taking advantage of this helpless millionaire boy, and instead, I mean, he gets that, but also she means well, so you know, it's not so bad.
Yeah, I completely see your point. I still don't like him.
No, that's fine. That's fine. She could do better. Dorothy could do better.
Yeah.
This is a Dorothy Shop Stan podcast, and Dorothy could do better. Like that whole Olympic team. I mean, give the girl an Olympic team.
Yeah. The boat they're on seems humongous, even by the standards of a cruise ship.
Not necessarily. I mean, there's a gym. There's a big old dining room. I don't think it's that.
Cruise ships have indoor pools. Yes,
and
many modern cruise ships feature indoor covered or retractable roof pools. I want to look at some images.
Cruise ships are big. You don't know how big cruise ships are. And this is also a cruise ship to France.
Yes.
Like they're going from New York to France. This is a big old boat.
Yeah.
This isn't quite the Titanic, but like we're getting close, right, in size.
I mean, yeah. I'm just like... for some reason I'm just like blown away by like the entire like musical number in the gym with the pool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, this is a big boat.
That
This should
ain't
not surprise
nothing,
me.
man.
Like cruise ships have
Did
only
you
gotten
not
bigger.
watch the Titanic?
Yeah. Cruise ships have only gotten bigger, but it is still one of those like, you're in water, and now we have another thing on the thing that's floating in the water that has a big amount of water in it. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
This is just a hang up I have, okay? This is just
it's very silly. I just wait till we blow your mind with the fact there's probably multiple pools on that boat.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But no, it's it is quite the ship.
Yeah.
And then put a pregnant lady in that. There's a submarine in the pool in this ocean, and then you've got triple layers of swimming.
Yeah.
No. So speaking of the musical number in the gymnasium, I love musicals. I love this musical in particular, and I don't think of it as a musical because it's not one of those musicals where, and I think you described it before we hit record, if you took away all the music, you would still understand. You'd still have a whole movie without the musicals. This just adds on some fun bits to it, and I love it for that because it just, like, this could be a very standard cliche rom-com like we have nowadays with the, you know, boy meets girl, girl falls in love, hijinks ensue, the end, marriage. And we have that. But, like, we have a whole synchronized swimming performance. We have, obviously, Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend performance. We have the delightful throw-in moment of Dorothy being tossed into the pool through her whole song about how I just want to enjoy some time with these delightful, handsome Olympic team members, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just, at no point, Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend is kind of a showstopper, I suppose, but that might just be because of, in the context of our cultural history, it became a showstopper. I think we talked about this with, I don't even remember which movie, but one of my gripes with modern musicals is that it's often showstopper after showstopper after showstopper, and I don't want that. I want one showstopper, and everything else can just be fun. Right? And this is just fun, and I love that. And it's just like, it just adds a little extra glitter and performance into, you know, a perfectly delightful rom-com.
It's that little extra spice that makes existence extra nice. This is a quote from a musical number in a Simpsons episode.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfection.
Yeah, like I think the musical side of it's really fun. I know there are several musical numbers in it, but if I'm being completely honest, it's the one in the gym and the pool. And Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. I cannot tell you a single other song in this. Like, my mind is just like, there are two musical numbers.
Yep.
And those are the two, and that's it. Nothing else happens.
Sure.
A bunch of other stuff happens. But
but I understand.
Yeah, they just like...
But that's, right.
Yeah, they just loom so large in my brain, for sure. And... I think I've ranted to you about, like, there's this, like, viral thing on Instagram or TikTok or wherever where it was like, oh, they actually knocked Jane Russell into the pool, but they just kept filming. It's like, well, no, there's a cut. But they probably threw that moment in. They're like, oh, like, this is good. It plays well on screen. Let's just roll with it and adapt the rest of the sequence afterwards. It's like good numbers. Yeah. Am I about to admit that I like musicals? I think I might be. I might like musicals.
You should. They're great. They're fun. Welcome.
Yeah.
As a lifelong theater kid, yes. Well, I'll have to add some additional musicals to my movie queue because I do love a good musical, and there are so many of them. Just so many.
I mean, there are a few.
How dare you?
I like I like that era of Disney animated movies where it was very much the same vibe of like things are going to happen in this musical that underline the plot, but don't necessarily, they're not like plot critical. Like in Mulan, they have "I'll Make a Man Out of You." It's just like we're going to do a training montage, but it's a musical number.
Yep.
So I like stuff like that. Back when it came out when the like original cast recording of Hamilton came out, that was like my number one listened to thing that year. And I was like, this is awesome. And I remember this was probably heading into 2020 when we were coworkers and the touring show of Hamilton was coming to Ottawa. And like everyone on our team was like, we got to get tickets. And a bunch of us got tickets. And then the pandemic happened and it got delayed by like a year. And in that year, I was like, you know what? I think I'm good. I think I'm done with Hamilton. So Rachel and I wound up selling our tickets. So
that's so funny.
I think like the moment had just passed. And I think like they put like the filmed version on streaming. And it was like, well, I don't know that I need to see it live. Like I'm kind of just...
What?
Yeah.
Okay, you are the man that says go to theaters all of the time, which, yes, go to your local theater because they're amazing. And you didn't want to see a musical live? Bro!
I don't know, I can't remember why we did that. I think, like, it was either, like, it was a combination of, like, you know, the moment had passed for us.
Uh-huh.
Post-pandemic, like, uncertainty. We might have been moving. I can't remember. Like we
I guess you did leave the province.
We didn't,
so I can forgive you for that. But like,
but we didn't have. It's not like we had like this huge like, oh no, we can't go. We're like, oh, okay.
It's mildly inconvenient.
It was.
Yeah.
I think we either got a refund or we managed to sell them to someone. But yeah. So yeah, I like musicals. And passed on the opportunity to see one of the biggest ones of the last, 20 years.
Yep, sure
those
did.
are my bona fides.
Well, you get to tout go to theaters. I'll also tout go to live music.
Yeah.
Live music is amazing. This is not a music podcast, but I love live music.
Live music's great. Don't go to open mic nights unless you are a musician. Let me rephrase. Don't foist open mic nights on like it's Friday night and people want to go to a pub and also it's open mic night. No. Do an open mic night on like a quieter night to build like because sometimes you go to a pub and you just want to have a conversation with like friends and family and then like two guys are at the open mic night and they run the open mic night and it turns out they just run an open mic night because they want a captive audience.
Sure.
I'm speaking from experience here, unfortunately.
Did you recently have an experience you need to talk about?
Not recently, but it was back in 2024.
Oh no!
And it's a whole story. It was just like a case of like, guys, come on, just like let people have a conversation. We get it. You're trying to make your musical dreams happen. That's totally fine. That's total digression from anything remotely resembling this movie. Musicals are
awesome, and this is an awesome musical.
Yeah.
No,
this is a good musical. This is fun.
Very fun.
Yeah, it's not like
it is.
It's not too much musical. It's not too little musical. It's I think the right amount. You know.
Yeah.
They're just fun numbers.
This is the Mama Bear universe of musicals. Yeah. Where we've got our leading ladies doing musical numbers. We don't have musical numbers from anyone else.
Yeah.
It's just our leading ladies. And the chorus, if you will. But
well, also the Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend is also like an in-universe musical number. Like it is occurring diegetically.
She's a showgirl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus I feel bad because now I can't even remember the name of the song.
Is There Anyone There for Love?
Yeah. Like that's just a thing that happens.
Yeah. Look, Lorelai just wants some Olympic medalists.
Yeah.
They're swimmers. They can hold their breath. She wants just to take part in this training montage.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a line right before Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend when Gus comes backstage and tries to apologize to Lorelai, and she's not having it because he just left her high and dry in France without anything.
Mm-hmm.
And good for her, standing up for herself. And Lorelai leaves to go on stage, and Dorothy says to Gus, "You're not going to like this next one." He goes, "Oh, no." And then she proceeds to just like roast the heck out of Gus.
Yeah.
Because she's just like, "You left me here, my guy." Like, in context of the world,
Yeah.
Gus left her on a ship by herself. She arrives to France. The money that he sent her with is gone. He has canceled the check, as it were. And she and her best friend are in Paris, nowhere to stay. They don't speak the language. They don't have any money because women don't have bank accounts and they can't just get money from somewhere. And Gus comes crawling back and says, "Babe, I'm sorry." And she's just like, excuse me, no? Thank you, no. And then she sings this whole song about how diamonds are a girl's best friend. Men are going to be cowards and crawl away into the night when it's hard to continue on, but diamonds are there forever. And he's just like, "Oh God, I screwed up." And it's just so good in universe.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some good like snarky lines too that kind of like underline so much of this, like, because we've mentioned that, like, have you got the nerve to tell me you don't want to marry my son for his money? Well, it's true. Then what do you want to marry him for? I want to marry him for your money. Like, that's a good one. There's lady, just had this, I pulled it up. Lady Beekman, Piggy's poor wife, who does not deserve any of this.
I don't know.
She's
she
rude.
might
She's
a little
rude.
bit.
Yeah.
Listen, she didn't marry Piggy for her sparkling personality.
Clearly,
let's just put it that way.
She says, "You'll find I mean business." And Dorothy says, "Oh, really? Then why are you wearing that hat?" That's a good dig.
Oh God, it's so like, and that's not. They're just so clever. The writing is so clever, and it's delightful. Oh, goodness me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Fun.
I don't know,
movie.
man. It is. It's just like, and there's the little moments of like when Lorelai is reading the ship manifesto and she picks men and there's a moment where she goes into the dining room for the first time. She looks absolutely gorgeous. And she says to the maitre d', "You know, the last time I was on going to an event or on a cruise or something, the maitre d' refused to sit who I wanted to sit with me." And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do." And she said, "Well, you know, all the men would tip him $50 a piece to sit next to me. And then I decided I would just eat in my room. And so all those tips go away." And he's like, "Ah, I see. I will indeed sit whoever you want next to you, Miss Lorelai Lee, because I want all the other tips for all the other men that want to sit next to you as well." And she's just like, there's so many moments there where we see little glimpses of how calculating she is with how she knows the world works and how she can make it work for her. And then it backfires when, as she's looking at this manifesto, she picks one person, one very rich, very single man, and it turns out he's like 12 or 10, bad at kid ages. And she's like, "Ah, shucks." Because she picked him out for Dorothy to marry. And Dorothy looks at her like, "Could babysit him, I suppose."
Yeah. But the kid winds up being like a staunch ally. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole bit where, because like Lorelai gets stuck out the ship's window. And has to like fend off Piggy. I mean, I don't want to explain the gag, but like they do like two kids
Two
in a
men
trench,
in a trench coat.
Yeah, they do that gag, and it's very funny. Yeah.
But he helps her because he's a gentleman.
Yes.
And what a delightful gentleman he is.
And he prefers blondes. Title drop.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, this movie's delightful.
Yep. It is delightful. Oh, it's truly delightful. And just fun. One thing that you mentioned to me over before we hit record, too, is the fact that the musical numbers weren't directed by the director.
Yeah. Howard Hawks was just, I have an exact quote about that. Let me find my quote here. The musical numbers were staged by Jack Cole, who had a lot more experience doing that kind of like choreography and that sort of filming process. When asked about this after the movie came out, Howard Hawks said, "Yeah, I did a musical number called Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and I didn't do the production numbers," by which he means the actual musical numbers in the movie. His reasoning: "I didn't have any desire to. There's no extra context applied to that. He just was like, I don't want to do these. This is not my jam." Like, and
big respect.
And he was a very like varied filmmaker. He drew the line at musicals. Apparently, he's like, I'll make one, but I'm not doing those parts. Interestingly, he only did this movie because it was like the last one in a picture deal he had with the studio at the time. So, maybe he was not fully invested in this picture.
Sure.
Yeah. And speaking of like the production of this, I was also telling you about this beforehand because this was an interesting thing to find. According to Monroe's final interview before she died, her usual contract salary of $500 a week was the going rate for this. Her role on this, she made apparently a total of $18,000 in 1953 dollars. While Russell, who was a better-known actress at the time, earned $200,000 total for her time on this. If you adjust this for inflation, Marilyn Monroe made about $218,000 in 2026 dollars, and Russell made $2.5 million.
Wild.
Yeah.
I guess she is technically top billed too. I always put it the other way around, but no, they are. Jane Russell was top billing in this movie too.
Yeah, she would have been more like she would have been the known star at the time, so it's not terribly surprising. Yeah. But it is interesting in like hindsight to be like Marilyn is not like the star in this. That's kind of it's kind of great
early in her career,
relatively early in her film career, but.
Another really cool thing about this is that Gentlemen Prefer Blondes is actually based on a book written by a woman named Anita Loos, Loos. But she was one of Hollywood's foremost early screenwriters, which is absolutely super cool.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I wonder if that is partially why the women feel so real, because we had a female screenwriter in there writing a female best friend, because spoilers, women aren't catty with all other women. That's just a trope that gets played for laughs. we have many a good friends.
Well, also,
but no, that's
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but also like the kind of like strong female characters present in this are kind of Howard Hawks as a director was known for his female characters and had like they were always like tough, resourceful, had a can-do attitude, and that kind of like lends itself to this as well.
I can't help but make the joke that you interrupted a woman talking about a female writer to talk about a male director in creating strong female leads. It's very funny.
Let me just mansplain what a strong female lead is.
Let me just mansplain.
I don't know if you know a thing about movies, but it's short for moving pictures. And
oh my God, Ben, tell me everything about how women think. I don't know. Oh my God, that's so good. I'm so glad we're back.
Yeah,
we took a break in recording, and now we're back, and it brings me such joy to be able to.
This is a weird one to talk about for me because it's like the collision of like let's talk about early proto-feminist depictions of women. But also curb your usual habit of just explaining every single thing about a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Fun times.
Oh, it's so good.
Fun times.
Oh, God. It really is. Speaking of fun times, this movie is a fun time.
Yeah.
What other things, if you liked this, because you liked this, what else would you watch in conjunction with this film?
This is going to be a live off the top of my dome recommendation because I did not fill out our usual notes for this section.
Oh no.
I'm going to go with Easy A, the Emma Stone movie from probably about 15 years back.
God, really?
Yeah, that's a good movie, and it kind of digs into some similar, like, that's a movie that's all about like these kind of like preconceived notions of this young woman and her kind of pushing back and creating a persona and identity for herself within this space that has been kind of dictated for her. I think that's like, if you kind of want a similar sort of vibe, I would go with Easy A. It's also very funny, which certainly helps.
Excellent.
That's a great movie. Highly recommend that. What would you recommend?
How to Marry a Millionaire.
Okay, yeah.
Bar none.
Another
Excellent
Marilyn
film.
Monroe,
Another Marilyn Monroe, but this one has Lauren Bacall as well, whom I adore. Also, the other spiritual siblings to this that I wanted to talk about and will talk about, Pretty Woman and Breakfast at Tiffany's, because again, very similar themes around women wielding the power that they have to be able to make good lives for themselves, and all films with women with gumption, as we talked about in The Holiday, definitely recommend. What I also recommend is that you find us at Patreon as Coffee and Kurosawa. You can also find us on Blue Sky and Instagram as Coffee Kurosawa Pod. You can find me, Farrah Sarpkaya, on Blue Sky, Substack, and Letterboxd and Instagram as Farrah Kaya, and at sarpkaya.ca, where I lend my voice as a voice actor. Ben, where can the people find you?
I'm on Blue Skies at the Benjimon, and on Letterboxd as at Benjimon. And I think that brings us to the close of this episode. Thank you.
It sure does.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for letting me mansplain movies at you for a bit. Until next time.
Ain't there anyone here for pods?